Jefferson Robbins with NCW Life. There's a county commissioner seat open in Douglas County for the first time in quite some time. 5 people have stepped forward to put their names in for the August primary. One of them joins me now, Katie Shafer from Waterville. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are a new candidate, and so people will not necessarily know much about you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your professional background, what you do?
A little bit about myself. I am a Washingtonian. I am born and bred from Bellingham originally. I have been in Douglas County since 2010, so 14 years. I currently manage 3 bank locations, and I also am a county hospital district commissioner and have been doing that for approximately about 12 years.
Tell me about the hospital district in Waterville. It oversees the clinic, is it right?
True. It oversees the clinic and the Waterville ambulance, so our local clinic and ambulance.
So everybody who receives medical service in the Waterville area or needs emergency medical service certainly is going to be calling essentially on the services of the district.
True story. And we do partner with Confluence Health to man our clinic.
And what do you do professionally?
I manage banks.
Okay.
I work for Umpqua Bank. I oversee 3 different locations currently, and that would be Waterville, Orrville, and Brewster.
And so do you have to spend a lot of time commuting between these 3 branches?
Well, 2 of my locations have their own managers, and COVID kind of stepped in and took away some of the travel. Everything is done remotely, oftentimes these days with Teams calls. I do travel a little bit, however, probably about once a month.
What do you think working in banking, Katie, has taught you that you could apply if you were elected to become a Douglas County Commissioner?
Budgets. A lot of budgets. Staying true to your financial capabilities is really, really important. I'm given an annual budget for 3 different locations. I get monthly balance sheets that cover where we sit year to date, and that covers everything that you can possibly think of, from staffing and our allotment on that, to also anything that we're spending, lunches out even, or anything you can think of, I've got to keep an eye on.
And so you think when the different departments are coming to the county commissioners saying, we ran out of money for this or we need money for that project, that puts you in a good position to understand the needs?
It puts me in a good position, but probably what I would say is my time as hospital district commissioner puts me in a better position, because we supply a budget ourselves every October that we send up to the county, and we try to adhere to that budget. And I have always taken it very seriously, considering it's taxpayers' dollars.
And the hospital district, we should also mention, does have levies that it needs to get passed. It's publicly funded, and so you're involved with the creation of those levies, formulating them, getting them to the ballot, seeing what the voters say. Very
true. Recently, this past year, well, it went on for about 3 years total, but we were able to see the completion in this last year of our new ambulance building, and I worked hand in hand with our current commissioners to fund that.
And so when you look at Douglas County and at the issues that are facing it right now, are there particular ones that you want to tackle? Are there particular areas that you think you could bring your expertise to?
I think that we are experiencing a huge amount of growth, not just in our residential growth, obviously, but in our large corporations that are coming into the county. And with that is going to bring an influx of people. It's going to bring all sorts of things that possibly, if we're not careful, the county really needs to think forward and be prepared.
Could be changes to the tax base too. The structures could change.
All sorts of implications are at play, to be very fair.
Do you have a particular philosophy, Katie, in terms of how you would manage the county? Are there particular, life lessons that you think you would bring to bear?
I think that we need to really focus on the balance of growth. As I said, along with what we're seeing with such huge mega corporations coming into our area, we need to maintain a focus on small business just as well, And along with that growth that we're about to see, you're going to need to see a balance of affordable housing versus traditional housing. You're going to need to see, you know, our first responders taken care of, because there's going to be an influx of people. Infrastructure is huge. We're already heavily taxed on our roadways and our bridges, and what we see from 3 to 6 every day.
There's demand for housing, but Douglas County is largely, historically, a rural county. Do you have concerns about meeting the kinds of housing demands that Douglas County might see in the future and balancing that with keeping rural character or with conserving some open space?
100%. That's a very real message that you're speaking right now, because I sit in a very rural town, and I love my rural town. And I love my farmers, and we're pretty landlocked as we sit. So East Wenatchee, of course, is seeing growth. We're seeing growth up Grant Road. We're probably going to be seeing some more growth out the way of Baker Flats area, and probably up Badger Mountain. But we also tend to run into farms up Badger Mountain. So we'll have to see and weigh that.
And of course, if a farmer does decide, I'm out of this business, I'm going to sell this for development, that'd be a question for the county to take on also.
It would.
Let me ask about priorities that the county may have set in recent years that you've observed that you disagreed with. Are there places where they've made a choice to go one direction and you're like, well, if I was commissioner, I might have decided differently?
Jefferson, that's a tough question for me to answer, because I do appreciate our sitting commissioners and their endeavors and their conservatism. I know that year over year our budget remained, you know, effectively about the same up until last year. It was increased quite a bit from 25 and change to 28.9 mil. And I do know that there's been a lot of things at play. Would I say that there's anything myself that I disagree with? No, I couldn't say that until I'm actually able to perform the job, to be very fair. I would never want to negate something someone else has done until I've been in their shoes.
One thing about Douglas County commissioner elections in general, is they happen first in the primary.
Yes.
Everybody runs in their district.
Yes.
District votes.
District 2.
District 2 will vote for 2 candidates to move forward.
Yes.
Into the general election, when all of Douglas County gets
Yes.
to vote. So that's a strange system to some people. Do you think that it works best that way, or should only District 2 constituents get to vote on the District 2 commissioner in the general election?
I'm favorable to it. I favor how it is currently. I do. I think that the district in which I live gets the first say before it opens to the countywide vote.
Do you think that the countywide vote helped keep commissioners balancing the needs of the whole county in mind?
I think that when we come at it from each district, I think it's important to realize that each district holds their own weight as far as their demographics, as far as their capabilities and their revenues. And I think that it keeps it down to how we each represent our districts within the county as a whole.
Do you think you'd keep working for Umpqua Bank as commissioner?
Yes.
No conflicts of interest of any kind there?
No.
All right.
I think it goes hand in hand, actually.
Does Umpqua Bank by chance do business with the county at all, or do you know?
Well, that's not something I can speak on,
Okay.
actually.
Is there anything else, Katie, that I didn't ask about that you think constituents in District 2 should know about you?
Well, I am someone that believes in doing. I want to be the person doing. I'm not someone that wants to talk about doing. I would rather be the person making the decisions than the person that is complaining about the decisions being made on my behalf.
And that's why you're running.
It's one of the reasons.
Katie Shafer, running for Douglas County Commissioner, District 2. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Jefferson.
You're watching the NCW Life channel.